Hi everyone, my name is Jenna and thank you so much for tuning in to us live from the Houston Zoo. We are featuring our Jaguars, Rojo and Vida. Now last time we tuned in with you guys, with Rojo, he was 4 months old and just making his public debut out on his habitat. Now he is 10 months old. In fact, he just turned 10 months 2 days ago. And it might be difficult for you guys to tell them apart because he has grown like a weed. So on your screen right now is Rojo. He just took a dip in the pool. So what he's trying to figure out and problem solve is how to get to an ice pop. And he also is really excited because we have a lot of really yummy food items for him. And so he's just like hunting and foraging with mom right now. Now Rojo is growing really quickly, and jaguar cubs in zoos are very rare. It's quite difficult to breed them, and Rojo is even more so rare because it is very uncommon for jaguar cubs to be born in November. So Rojo is a Scorpio, but he doesn't act moody and broody like a typical Scorpio does. He's actually a very fun, energetic jaguar. And what he's doing right now is he is diving into the water to look for fish. Now, jaguars are one of the few cats that really enjoy swimming. In fact, their tail will be used as a lure to help attract fish. Now you may be viewing at home and you can see like their tail twitching. I like to think it kind of looks like a rattlesnake often, and they will use that to twitch their tail right beneath the surface of the water or right above, and that helps attract fish. Now Rojo's favorite food is fish. Fish is life to him, so I'm not surprised that he is diving in the water and swimming. And he is very much equipped for that. Now he learned how to hunt and forage for fish by watching his mom, so you could see him doing that right there. Now as he comes up, he looks like his face is a little intense, but jaguars have to grimace like that because it makes their nostrils a lot thinner and it prevents them from getting water up their nose. So I'm sure a lot of us at home may relate to going in the ocean or any body of water and you might come up and get some water in your nose and it's not really enjoyable. So jags have learned long ago, in order to prevent that from happening, they just have to kind of look like they're smiling or grimacing, and that will help prevent them from getting water up their nose. Now Rojo at times will look like he has a grumpy face. I like to think that he has a resting grumpy face, but he is a very people-oriented cat. In fact, Vida, who just celebrated her 6th birthday last week, is more of your typical cat. She's very introverted, a little shy, and she was a first-time mom when she gave birth to Rojo, and she did an amazing job. We're all very proud of her, and it's amazing to watch those instincts kind of take charge, and she knew exactly what she needed to do when Rojo was born. And so we were just kind of like your proud co-parents, just watching and supporting from the sidelines, but she did not need hardly any support. Now Vida, I like to say she is an introvert raising an extrovert. When we first debuted Rojo on the habitat, she was kind of a helicopter mom. And she would carry Rojo away when she felt like he was trying to be intrigued by the keepers a little too much, and she would be like, nope, that's enough for you, and so she would just carry him away. But she's really come into her own, and that was 6 months ago when they were introduced to the habitat. Now Rojo is just a pro, and you know, anytime you have a baby animal, you kind of have to baby proof their home or their habitat, just like you would bringing a baby to your house for the first time. You know, so we had, at first we tried having their stream empty, and behind the scenes we were working to make sure that Rojo knew exactly what to do whenever he got in water, because we had little smaller pools of water to make sure that he was ready for that. But, you know, he showed us that we were just being a little too cautious, helicopter parents ourselves. So the second day he came on habitat, we went ahead and just filled the stream. And he's just been cruising in milestones ever since. So one of the biggest milestones, especially when you are a little baby cat, is learning to climb. Now, play and learning life skills go hand in hand. So us keepers would work on encouraging him to climb on small logs, and then we would progress from there. One of his first challenges was to be able to go up and over the bridge and go down these steps to make it on the habitat. Now, Rojo, when he was first born, was a very big baby, and male cubs in particular will grow almost twice as fast as female cubs. And so Rojo started life as just a giant tubby baby, and so it makes a lot of sense that he just came out with the ground running. And he has grown so quickly. So he's almost the size as Vida right now. And I would say in the next 6 months, he is going to be larger than Vida. Now, he's going to be considered full grown by about the age of 2. And right now, he's kind of going through an awkward teenage stage. So just like us, we all go through like an awkward stage where we're growing into ourselves, you know, growing into an adult from a baby cub with Rojo. So he's kind of long and gangly. His head's a little large for his body right now, but he is so handsome. And you can check him out. He is licking a ice pop that we made, and inside that ice pop are more fishies. And if you were viewing a little earlier, and Mom is still doing that, he went fishing for a lot of fish that we hid in the water for him. Now, I'm very excited because September 1st to me marks the first day of fall. It doesn't really feel like fall so much, so it's still a little hot, and that's why we gave Rojo an ice pop. Now, ice pops are not something that jaguars would typically encounter in their native range, but it's still a nice treat or form of enrichment to encourage them to kind of problem solve. Now, what he's doing is he is licking to try to get to that fish. Now, cat tongues, for those of you at home, you may have house cats at home, you may have been licked by your cat. It kind of feels like sandpaper. And it's the same for Rojo there. Their tongue is really cool because it has so many different roles that they play. So they'll use their tongue as a hairbrush to groom. And in Rojo's case, he's using his tongue to slowly eat away at that ice to get to those tasty fishies at the center of that ice pop. Now, we also put it there to encourage him to get into the water, and you know, he really needed very little encouragement because he was all over the water earlier today. And Mom still is, and she is just kind of walking, and you'll see that she'll tilt her head just slightly. Jaguars have amazing vision, and they have special lenses to break down on the glare in the water. And so she is just slowly making her way across the stream. And their paws are also very sensitive. So if they can't see the fish, they're definitely going to be able to feel them. And she caught one right there, and so she's just walking a little farther where it's shallower to eat it. Now, as far as personality goes, Rojo is a very energetic jaguar. He enjoys training, and from day one, us keepers started training him on behaviors. We first started on something known as name recognition, just like you do with kids at home. You know, everybody needs to learn their name, and Rojo is no exception. And that really helps us with encouraging him to shift inside. And right now, he's learning a really fun behavior called emergency recall. And that is a behavior that we use for emergencies, just like the name. So let's say there is a really dangerous thunderstorm coming. We could do a recall, and so both of them will go into their back bedroom areas very quickly, and they can get reinforcement or a lot of tasty treats for doing that. And that's something that we strive to do for many of the animals here at the zoo, to make sure to keep them nice and safe whenever we do have dangerous weather coming in. One of the most common questions that I get here at the zoo is, what's the difference between a leopard and a jaguar? And I like to compare them with chocolate chip cookies. So if you look at Vida right now, in those, we call them rosettes, but in the center of those rosettes, there are spots. So jaguars look like chocolate chip cookies, and leopards do not. They do not have spots inside, so that is a really easy way to tell them apart. Now, jaguars and leopards are found on opposite sides of the world. So jaguars are found in the Americas, South, Central, and even North America. Now, historically, jaguars could be found as far north as Oklahoma and even in Colorado. Now, these days, we've been tracking, I think, 4 male jaguars that will sometimes frequent Arizona. But mostly jaguars are found in Central and South America. And Pantanal, the Pantanal region, is a really safe haven for jaguars. In fact, the Houston Zoo is helping us conserve jaguars where they're found by helping educate and fund ecotourism to ensure that our jaguars can be viewed in a very safe way to help people fall in love with these amazing cats. Now, for those of you that are just viewing us, they are enjoying an ice pop right now, and inside that ice pop are fish. So jaguars love fish. In fact, they have really cool, unique hunting techniques that helps them hunt and catch fish. Now, you can check out Vida's tail. It's twitching a lot right now, and that is used to kind of help lure fish. We just had a question from Carrie, who asks, when is the best time to see them? They are sleeping when I usually visit. Yeah, so jaguars, as well as all of our other cats that we have here at the Houston Zoo, they sleep up to 20 hours a day, sometimes more. I am so jealous of that lifestyle. I wish I could do that. But the best time for you to come to the zoo to view Vida and Rojo is usually at first in the morning when we first open, right after 9 a.m. That's usually when the weather's cool, although hopefully our weather will start cooling off after a couple weeks, but that is the best time to be able to come and see Rojo and Vida.
Is this one Vida? Which one is this?
That's a great question. So we just, for those of you that are viewing, it's difficult to tell them apart because Rojo is growing like a weed, but that is Rojo. He is licking his ice pop. Yeah, so Rojo just turned 10 months a couple days ago. And, you know, all babies grow so quickly. And right now, it depends. So females weigh a lot less than males. And so they will usually top out at around 150, 160 pounds. But males can get as large as around 240 pounds. And since Rojo was born and he was already a big baby, he's probably going to be a big jaguar. Well, Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Come by to see our jaguars in person with the beautiful weather this week. Thank you.